Welcome, everybody. Today with us we have FireGame. FireGame has had an issue, which I will first let him describe himself. Tell us what happened with DBD and you, or maybe tell us about how much time and how much of a player or a streamer were you for DBD?
So I have probably about 1,400, I think about 1,400 hours in the game, closer to maybe 1.5K. I'd been streaming the game for about 2 years, playing the game for about 3 years on top of that, or excuse me, 3 years as well. I maybe was streaming, I would think close to 10 to 20 hours a week, depending on how much time I had of specifically that game. I love the game so much and play it so much. I had the name DBD in my Twitch name. At the end of it, as many streamers do, they can't get the exact name they want, so they put one of their favorite games at the end of their name. So Dead by Daylight was my main streaming game. I have all the killers, I have all the survivors. I'm rank 1 killer survivor, or at least I was until recently. So I've, again, a lot of time in the game, a lot of investment. I've spent money on and purchased, I think, every single expansion since I started playing with real money, saving RXLs to pick up cosmetics or anything else like that instead of actually buying characters, because I thought it would be worth supporting the developers directly. So I have a pretty high level of time and financial investment into the game.
And I would assume you had a lot of fun playing it. It was, as you said, your favorite game.
Yeah, I definitely greatly enjoyed playing it with myself, with friends. I convinced a lot of friends to pick it up as well so I could play with them. And met a lot of great people through it, including Mr. Dorian here. Mr. Dr.Dorian.
Thank you. As far as I read, you also made a Reddit post. I'll link it in the description. You also played with your fiancé, right?
Yeah, so I got my fiance interested in the game when I first started, but it wasn't until recently that we got it on Switch, which really enabled them to play with me. And so probably about 2-3 months ago, we first started playing a little bit together, and maybe about the last 2 months or so, I started playing a lot more heavily. Or at least they started playing a lot more heavily until we kind of ran into some issues.
Okay. Speaking of issue, this is the reason why I asked you if you would be willing to talk about this. What happened?
So, Behaviour, having played it on Switch, having played it on mobile, having played it on PC, Behaviour had started offering about 2 months ago a cross progression account called the Behaviour Account. It only included Steam and Stadia at the time, but they said they intended to add cross progression across all platforms, not mobile. Mobile is its own thing, but across Steam, Switch, PS2, Xbox, or PS and Xbox, all that stuff. So I thought, hey, I'll sign up for it early because I know I'm going to want that, so I can play on Switch on the go when I can. So I decided to be an early adopter of that program, of that system, where it was pretty straightforward. You just, like, if you're linking your Twitch to Steam, you just type in your Steam account and it asks you, do you want to link? It does give you a warning that if you unlink your accounts, you couldn't re-link them again for, I think at the time it said 5 months, but I later saw that was 60 days instead. Neither of them, you couldn't link or unlink your accounts for 60 days. Kind of annoying, but not a big deal because I never intended to unlink my accounts.
Okay. So if I understood this correctly, you wanted this Behaviour account. You said, okay, because we have Dead by Daylight on Switch and I don't know, maybe other devices, but at least on Switch, and so that you can play with your fiancé better.
So it wasn't it shouldn't have impacted my ability to play with my fiance. We were already able to play
But
because they'd implemented cross-platform play. It was more of a heads up thing that I thought I'd be an early adopter for cross progression saving, under the promise that they gave us that they would eventually implement it for more platforms besides Steam and Stadia.
So that if you would play on Switch, you would have all the progression that you had from your 3 years of computer and your DLCs and stuff like that.
Yep, okay. Exactly.
And then what happened?
So immediately upon me doing that, I lost all of my non-Steam friends. Actually, first I lost all my friends. But that was quickly fixed.
Okay.
To me having all my Steam friends, but I couldn't re-add my fiance. They could neither add me nor could I add them.
Quick question. Did you lose them in Steam, or was it just Dead by Daylight where you couldn't access them?
They were playing on Switch.
So it was the cross play in Dead by Daylight that didn't work.
Yes, I had a few other cross play friends as well that I lost. I didn't play with them as actively, so it wasn't as big a deal. But the big one is that my fiance, who who just recently had gone into the game, and I've been playing a lot more with recently.
Okay.
We couldn't add each other, which means that we couldn't invite each other to games, which means we couldn't play together very effectively. I submitted a ticket. Obviously, this is a bug, not intended. They said they were working on it. Sure. Okay, I'll give them a little bit of time, and if it doesn't get fixed soon, I can just unlink, and it won't be a big deal. Okay. 2 days later, they say, "Hey, we think we've implemented a fix. Try it out." Yes. I go in, not fixed. We respond to that ticket saying, "Hey, it's still not working." And they said, "Oh, we're working on it urgently." Let me actually bring up my tickets. Okay. Which made me think, well, they got back to me in 2 days, which that
sounds good.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. That seems like they're responsive. This seems like I had submitted only one ticket before in the past, was due to a speed hack bug that I accidentally enabled. I don't remember what happened. It was like I was on a map, something weird happened, I didn't want to get banned, I reported it immediately. That was all it was. Okay. But they were really responsive, so a 2-day turnaround time for a bug, thinking that they'd fixed it, that seems pretty good. Yeah. So I said, no, it's not fixed, but please keep me updated, of course.
Of course.
And then they went silent. And they were silent for, I think, about a month. Let me see. I'm just going to go back and see what the last thing actually they did say. Yeah, so they said after I submitted saying it wasn't working, my apologies that we don't have an alternative solution to provide you with, but sure, their team is working on a fix. Thank you for your patience. And that was the last thing I heard from them about 2 months ago. I waited about a month thinking that eventually they would fix it, In the meantime, there was a workaround. It wasn't that hard to get into games with them. I just had to have a Steam friend who hadn't linked their account to the Behaviour Account, add them into a game, and then add me into that game.
Yes.
Tedious. Forcing me and my fiance to, if we wanted to play with anyone or play together ever, having to have a third party every single time. Annoying, tedious, not a big deal. But after a month of nothing happening, I did what I think most people would do, and just decided to unlink them because it wasn't working as intended. I didn't have Stadia, so I was waiting on cross-platform for something they hadn't even updated yet.
So just out of curiosity, so after 2 days you got a response, and then when did you get the next response, or did you unlink it after you didn't get a response for a month? I didn't quite catch that. When was the next response after the 2 days?
Sorry, say that question one more time.
When was the next response after those 2 days? You said you got a response after 2 days?
They responded. So after those 2 days, they responded about a day later saying that we're sorry it didn't actually fix the
Yeah.
problem.
And then after that?
And then nothing for about a month.
And what was after the response after that month?
Nothing. I unlinked my account at that point. There was no response, so I just decided because there's no response, I'm just going to unlink my account, and that'll be that.
Okay.
So when I unlinked my account, it said, just be warned that you won't be able to relink your accounts for 60 days. You won't be able to link this Steam account to a new account or unlink the account to a Steam account for 60 days.
Yes.
That's unfortunate, but not just doesn't seem like a problem if I'm not going to use this for 60 days.
And that was the only thing it said?
That was the only thing it said, that you wouldn't be able to relink them for 60 days.
Okay.
So I said, okay, that's fine. Unlink my accounts, go into log into Dead by Daylight later that day. I find that I have lost over 100 hours of progress. And
what did that 100 hours include? Rift?
It included all of the progress on the current Rift and Tome. I was level 35 in the Rift. I completed the first 2 parts and was most of the way through the 3rd part of the Tome.
Okay.
And so I was back to level 1 in the Rift. That was half, 30 exactly. 35 would be exactly half the Rift. Over a month's worth of progress. Essentially, everything I had done in the game was all gone. I think there was so many things that went wrong to force me to that point. I assumed it had to be another bug. Just one thing went wrong. When I added the account, another thing went wrong. That broke once I was trying to unlink it. Things going wrong. That makes sense to me. So I submitted a ticket, and their response was, oh yeah, this is a known issue that you can lose blood points, RXLs, and shards if you unlink your accounts.
But nothing about
they're working on it.
But nothing about progression.
Nothing about progression. Although I assumed that they were through their intent, that this. Let me see exactly what they said. I think again I submitted this a little under a month ago. Yeah, so they actually just said our team is aware of this issue and are urgently working on a solution to this, which made me think, okay, they're aware there's a problem, they're working on it. I was saying that this is really frustrating because I lost so much progress that I feel like I have no reason to play. I lost 100 hours. I had to start over in the Rift in a Tome that was over halfway over. There's no way for me to catch up. So for about a week, while they didn't respond, I had very little interest in playing. I played a little bit with my fiance because they wanted to play and I wanted to play with them, but that was basically it. I didn't really feel motivated to play with them outside of that time. So there was that. But I gave them a week or two. They finally got back and said, "Hey, hope you're doing okay. We've recently implemented a fix for lost progression due to linking, unlinking your accounts. You should have received an in-game message with your lost shards, cells, and blood points. If not, please open this ticket and we'll take a look. I log in thinking that, hey, I'll log in and I'll have
Everything back?
essentially enough RX cells to rebuy myself into the rift to where I was. There's no way they're probably going to be able to get me back to where I was in the tome, but the tome's not that important. That's fine. I log in and I get, this is like December 2nd or something, I get 10k blood points for the advent calendar. Nothing else.
Okay.
Log out, submit a ticket, say no, I didn't get any extra blood points besides the advent calendar. Can you please urgently work on this, because I can play the game with my fiance finally, but only having lost all this time. I wait another about 4 or 5 days, actually closer to a week, and they let me know that this we implemented a fix on the fix, so now you should be getting your auric cells, shards, and blood points.
Yes.
I get 200k blood points, which I believe were blood points I got through a code that I applied to my other account
Okay.
before. So I think that was what that was. I say no, I still haven't been compensated. Wait another 3-4 days, and they finally get back to me with this message, which is, this was 6 days ago. Hey there, we're very sorry for the delay. My apologies for any frustrations that has caused, but as per our FAQ article, they link a support article in Dead by Daylight that is deep into the support, which was not linked to me at any point throughout the pop-up in the in-game menu, which is what brought me to the behavior account. On the behavior account page, or as a warning before linking the article, before linking your accounts, that this is working as intended. However, if you unlink an account after it's been merged, all progress and purchases will be set to the state it was before the merge, potentially causing a loss of progress, virtual goods on that platform. I hope this helps, and please let us know if there's anything else that we can do for you. All the best, the Dead by Daylight team.
Does it say? Does the article say when it was published? Is there a publishing date or something on that?
That's a good question. I should check that. I mean, I suspect it's. I did do it the day it was announced, so I hope to God it was linked before that. Yeah. Let's see. This article link was posted. It was updated 3 days ago. Shoot, it's not showing me when it was originally posted though. I'll send you a link to what they sent me. It was updated 3 days ago.
Okay.
They also just sent me a thing saying that they think it should be fixed if I re-link my accounts and it is not fixed again. Literally while I was talking to you, I was thinking maybe they fixed it this time actually. Maybe at the end of this thing I can tell them, wait a second, they actually fixed it this time, guys, but they literally just gave me like 150k blood points or something, and that was it. I'm tier 8 in the archive. I had been tier 35. There's no possible way for me to get the content that will only be available this one rift, because I lost so much progression.
Well, also it's demotivating, you know, if you
It's demotivating to lose so much time, so much progress in this game, to have them keep saying over and over and
they're
over
on
again,
it
"Hey,
and
we
it's
think we
fixed.
got it
Yeah.
fixed." They literally just did it to me again today. They literally just reopened the thread I'd been looking at. I'm probably not going to be able to. Lindsay, can you log on to Dead by Daylight quick?
Question.
Yeah.
Did you have any org cells on the account that you put while or during the phase where the accounts were merged? Did you purchase any org cells?
I did not purchase any Oryx cells because I used my Oryx cells. Oh no, actually, I specifically hadn't purchased the Rift, which I'm very thankful for. Because I was a little uncertain if I was going to be playing enough this season to get to the end of the Rift. I didn't want to purchase the Battle Pass if I wasn't playing very much.
Sure. So you had org cells on your account before linking.
I had org cells on my account. I did not purchase any in the meantime.
Before merging or linking the accounts.
Yes, I did have some on my account, and they're still there.
They're still there. So
yes.
I'm just wondering if they were thinking about you know, if all they were saying is, okay, we'll refund blood points and well, auric cells and pretty much and iridescent shards that you gained, that we can estimate you gained while playing, you know, something like that in that direction. Although 200,000 blood points is nowhere near what you would get after reaching level 35 of the Rift. You'd probably be more like, I don't know, a couple million.
It was no, I estimated it was several tens of millions. It's 100 hours. I would say that I'd probably be getting. Well, I'm pretty efficient with my blood points.
But it's also.
I'm pretty sure I leveled up and prestiged 4 or 5 characters in that time.
I mean, it's also that you get blood points from the tome quests, from the challenges. You know, it's not just you get those. The blood points from playing and from bonus blood points and stuff like that. But you also get extra blood points or the codes that you could input. There were a couple of codes that gave you 200k or 200, I don't know what k. There's a whole list probably that you can find on the internet with different blood points. This
also occurred during the Halloween event, which is the largest blood point event of the year, that also had a blood hunt in it. So probably the blood hunt alone, I made 5 mil or more.
Okay.
Just through using in-game items, double blood points. Basically, that entire event, I was a 4-man stack in Survivor using at least 2 to 3 blood point offerings, plus 2 to me or them having the in-game event thing that increased the amount of blood points individuals got. Yeah, I mean, there were multiple events that intertwined with this occurring, that I lost all of the blood points for, all the rift progress for, all the iridescent shards for.
Okay. What happened after that, or did something? Is that the
after end? That? I mean, that was 6 days ago. I finally got an update saying that this is how it was intended to work, and
or at least that they're pretty much saying they're not going to do anything else anymore.
And that was it. Yep, that was them saying that we have nothing else that we can do on our end that we are able to do.
Okay.
Now today, they literally 6 hours ago, I just saw this email and I'm looking at it, and it says, oh, because, and I didn't mention this, but I attempted to reclaim my progress in my Stadia account.
Yeah.
Thinking that, okay, fine. This is annoying. It's tedious. I will have to pay for $10 for an extra month of Stadia. But at least I will be able to play on my Dead by Daylight 100 hours in the future account, because the Behaviour account must have, if I link my Stadia to it, it must put me at the point where I was in Steam, right?
Yes.
No, I had a base game in Stadia. The behavior count is not a save state for your game. It doesn't act as anything but a bridge between the two games, meaning that if you have a account with 1,000,000 hours in it and you link it to Dead by Daylight, and you link it to the behavior account and then unlink it, and then after the fact link Stadia to it, you will lose all of that time, and the behavior count didn't actually function as a cross progression account. It is just functionally a bridge, and if you remove one side of the bridge, that bridge goes nowhere.
So just to make it sure that I understood correctly, what you're saying is if you have 100,000 hours in Dead by Daylight on your Steam account, and you then link your the Steam account to the behavior account, and you have Stadia, and you then unlink it again, then your Steam account still has 100,000 hours, but your Stadia account doesn't have 100,000 hours.
That appears to be how it works.
And
I understand that they're trying to prevent account sharing, but the fact of the matter, if that is the case, why revert both sides of it? If they wanted to, they could revert my Steam side, which would force me to use the behavior side like they did, which is, somewhat annoying, but I was willing to put $10 into Stadia to have 2 months free so that I could wait the 60 days out. Or they could remove all the progress from the behavior side and just allow me to have the progress I want on Steam, which would mean I couldn't, that behavior account was now wiped. Instead, they did both of them. So they ruined both accounts to try to prevent people from file sharing, I guess.
And
I don't know. The logic just doesn't follow.
When you're saying they ruined both accounts, they didn't port the progression onto your Stadia account, and with your Steam account, they removed all the progress, or pretty much they removed all the progress that during the merging on every account, and also they didn't port the progress over to the. Okay.
So that progress doesn't exist anywhere. It's gone. I don't even know exactly how far it was in the Rift. I think it was around 35 to 37. They don't have a save of it. I don't have a save of it.
They don't have a save of it?
They don't.
Did they write that?
They did not write that, but I don't know how they possibly could. Or if they do, they should be able to revert it. This most recent email is them trying to say, we're trying to make amends and fix everything, obviously.
Okay.
It didn't work. I just relinked my account. They removed the 60-day penalty from my Steam account, so I just relinked it to see if that did fix it. And my Steam account, my behavior account, and my Stadia account are all now where my Steam account was 2 months ago.
Okay.
Roughly, which is rank 8 in the Rift now, because I've been playing a little bit.
Yes. So how does that make you feel?
It's so frustrating and sad. I love this game. I've loved playing it. Behavior has issues outside of this. They're not always the most responsive. There are bugs that sometimes don't get fixed for a while, but this has been a game that I've played with my fiance, with friends, for almost 3 years now, and to lose so much so quickly and to feel like there's no chance of it ever being reverted, I just don't know. I don't know. It just feels, it's so demoralizing. I guess that's the biggest point. I feel so demoralized at this point that playing the game doesn't even feel worth it.
Do you think you'll stop playing altogether, or maybe only on occasion?
I'll probably keep playing with my fiance. I enjoy playing it with them. It's one of the few games we've really kind of gone to play together that I think we both kind of enjoy. But I won't be playing it on my own. I won't be streaming it unless they somehow. The big thing that I would really I just want to make sure I'm not missing out on this Rift. I want to make sure that I'm getting back to where I was in the Rift.
So let's just, for argument's sake, say that behavior decides to do whatever they can to make you happy. Let's say somebody from Behavior calls you up on your cell phone or whatever and says, listen, this story got to me, and I want to offer you blank so that you don't feel that the time was wasted or whatever. What could they offer you?
I mean, at this point, they'd have to give me again an equivalent amount of rift progress equal to the time I lost, which in terms of the way that the rift is structured, that'd be about $35 worth of rift time, and I
The
honestly
$35?
can't
You mean
see them doing
35
that. This thing
tiers,
is,
right?
yeah, $35 would be 35 tiers within the rift. I don't see, from the responsiveness I've seen from them, I don't see them doing that. I guess maybe I'm going to respond to this and say basically that. I'm going to be like, I mean, at this point, everything you've sent me to try to fix the problem has not fixed the problem, and the only way that could fix it at this point would to get me back my rift progress, either through literally changing my, like, forwarding my rift to where it should be, or giving me ARC cells.
Just out of curiosity, the $35 dollars, is that $20 for purchasing the or why 35? I mean, I never did anything except play the 1050 for unlocking the premium pass. So
Yep.
how did you get to that $35?
So you can spend 100, and I have done this in the past. I've spent, sometimes I don't get quite to the end of the rift. I get to like tier 67, so I'll buy like the last 3 levels. A level in the rift has a dollar value, a United States US dollar value of
seriously?
$1. Yes, so you can buy a level a rift level for $1. So if someone really wants to, they could spend $70, $80, if assuming they'd want to also get the premium, just instantly be at
Yeah, sure. Okay.
instantly be at 70. I lost, in terms of in-game time, $35 worth of progress.
Want to hear my
more than that, but that's $35 worth of
want to hear my
comparable
opinion?
progress. Yeah. What?
I feel if they my opinion is if they contact you, they should give you the rift completely, or at least to a point where you probably would have been by the time by this point in time. Let me put it that way, because being demoralized, you didn't play as much as you would have. So that's also things that you have to take into account. And if you want to finish the rift, then getting to the point where you would have been at this current day, for example, on the 16th of December, would be, for example, what in my opinion would have to be done. So either they say, okay, 35 days it was on the day you submitted the ticket about the rift. Let's upscale that to what you could have estimatedly probably gotten. But of course, I also feel there should be an apology, some kind of token as a sign of an apology, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it went so bad. I actually, within my friend group, everyone else has also stopped playing because of this. Like, we had been playing, and I was kind of the central person in my friend group playing this game, and all of them have stopped because this has just been so egregious, so from bad to worse to worse to worse. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Okay. That we all just stopped. We all lost interest in the game.
So
because one of us got so far behind.
I know that in economics, it is said that one negative experience from people telling it to others carries over to a lot more people, not, for example, going to a store or purchasing or going to a restaurant or whatever. So in this case, your negative experience made most of, if not pretty much all of the people that you used to play with on a regular basis, at least, stop playing the game.
So in terms of just for real economic cost to them, I would have bought the Rift for $10. I hadn't done that yet. My friend probably would have bought the Rift as well because we were almost in a step on that game in the game progress. We both would have bought the newest expansion, and we also both would. Well, I would have streamed it. So that's $28 lost in sales. Plus, I don't have that many people following and watching me, but probably around new content, I'll usually stream a lot more. So that's probably 10 to 30 hours of streaming of new content. That's basically just free advertisement for them to my friends and people who like watching me. And none of that happened, and it's not going to happen. I'm not going to spend a single cent on this game.
Unless
this is fixed, unless this gets fixed in a big way.
How many people would you say stopped? Were you playing with regularly? Were you know that they stopped playing? About just a rough figure.
Probably 4 or 5.
So with you, it's 5 or 6, more or less. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Is there anything else you would like to say?
I mean, as mentioned, I didn't know what else to do, so I made a Reddit post about it. I'm talking to Dorian about it right now, and I've gotten support from the community. There were multiple people, I think close to 3 or 4 people who had the exact same story, although not quite as to the extent I had, saying that they too didn't know that there was a penalty. They knew that there was a penalty, but the only stated penalty was losing the ability to relink your accounts for 60 days. They said that they had lost tons of progress. I'm just astounded that this product that they put forward, that literally popped out at you it was the top of the news bar when you logged in as, hey, use this new behavior account, just didn't work. It didn't work in such an extreme way that I'm just astounded that a company could produce and then tote and trumpet something so broken.
Okay.
I don't know what else to say.
No, it's okay. Just one quick question. Could you send me some screenshots of their replies? I just was a thing about having a file that I put up in the Discord as a PDF where people can see the responses. Only if you want.
Yeah, I could do that. I'd be fine with that. I could just maybe it wouldn't even be that many. It'd be like probably 2 to 4 per.
Okay, so in case anybody who's watching this wants to contribute anything or something like that, feel free to comment below. I will also have FireGame's Twitch in the link below. And do you have a Twitter?
No, I don't.
Okay. I'll have his Twitch in the link below, and if you're all right with it, your Discord.
No, I don't have anything else.
Is Discord okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So if you want to talk to him, I'm sure that's no problem. Just hop into his Twitch or pop by his Discord when he's on it. Otherwise, if you have questions to me, Twitter, Discord, which is also linked in the description. I thank you for your time. I really hope this gets resolved. I was really looking forward to another 24-hour Dead by Daylight stream with you or something like that.
Yeah, and I haven't streamed the game since this happened, and I do not intend to.
I completely understand, and I mean, it hasn't happened to me, but I consider you a friend, and I would really love to continue playing games with you. Maybe we can find something else at some point. I mean, there are a lot of things that make me unhappy, but I thank you all for watching. I wish everybody the best of luck. Stay safe in these well, virus times. Don't catch the C virus. And thank you for your time, Fire.
Yeah, thank you, Dorian. Guess we'll update you if anything happens.
Okay. In case anything happens, I will also have a pinned comment below. Well then, till next time. Toodles.
Thank you.